All right. Question. You ready for this?
I don't know.
I don't know if I asked this on this show or another one, but I love this question. If you could only eat food that starts with one letter, what would it be? Think of all your favorite foods. And
P.
Okay, P was the first one I wrote down, and I couldn't list a bunch of things. But go ahead.
Pizza.
I have that.
Pasta.
Those are the only two I had.
Those are the only thing you had?
Porridge.
Pork.
Don't care about either of those.
You don't like bacon?
I could actually live off turkey bacon if I needed to.
Well, I mean, if we're going porridge works for me. I like porridge. Pork. Because it's the same, damn near the same as grits.
Okay. See, I think if you slow down already.
Pomegranates.
Wow, these are awful. If you slow down already, I feel like that ain't the thing. What about S?
Succotash.
No. Sushi. Sandwiches.
Sandwiches, definitely.
Sausage.
Mm-hmm.
Salami. A lot of meats. Sauerkraut. Soup. Salad.
Soup and salad. Yeah, you're good on that. Popcorn. You know I love me some popcorn.
I want to say S is my thing. If you can include the preparation, so it's like seared or like sautéed.
I got peppers.
Mushrooms. Okay, peppers.
Because I can put some peppers and some pasta with a little bit of pork.
And that's the only thing you would eat for the rest of your life.
I'm trying to think of, I said I got the pomegranates. I'm trying to think of.
S is winning for me.
P is, I'm on, but S is.
I ran out with T. I had taco, tamale, and torta, all Mexican. Tri-tip.
Mm-hmm. Oh, S is about to win. I got you. You ready for this one?
Yep.
Motherfucking steak.
Ooh, and shrimp.
Steak and shrimp. That's surf and turf. Yeah.
Yeah, I think S is it.
Yeah.
You got C, chicken, cheese, cereal.
Chicken is the front runner for that because
I mean, it's great.
Do a lot with chicken.
Cookies, chowder.
You can do calzones.
I love a calzone, and that kind of covers pizza too. Wraps pizza into. Okay, we cooking with C. Cooking.
Mm-hmm. Carrots, celery.
Okay. Cat. Eat some coochie. It's not bad.
So I'm gonna add in dick when we go to D.
D.
Oh, P. Pussy.
Okay, I covered that.
You covered that with C, but we didn't cover it with P.
I mean, okay, you got pizza, pasta, and pussy. That's really what you're gonna rotate for the rest of your life?
I really like the options that I came up with.
S got shawarma.
Oh,
you know I'm big on that.
But what kind though? Can you do chicken shawarma? Can you do?
That's the only that's the only shawarma I have.
But chicken starts with a C. So
shawarma is I mean, I think that covers the preparation. That's chicken, beef, and lamb.
So then there's some ways to get around. There's some loopholes.
The person I saw do this, they had F and for fried anything. And I think they covered B for baked.
Burgers? Oh.
B is straight. Yeah, if you do baked stuff, you can include chicken. You got burgers. You got bao.
Well, if you go, see, I was selecting based off of the names of certain type of foods. But if we're going off of cooking styles.
I mean, I think that was a little bit cheap.
I'm going B, because I really like to bake a lot of my foods.
So without that.
Without that, then.
Got beans.
Beans, burgers.
Booty. You can eat booty.
Bums.
You got
Bunnies.
Bunnies. Yep. B
Bunny.
is done. B is done. I think S wins. I think S
Brisket.
wins. Brisket. Okay. Barbecue.
Barbecue, brisket, barracuda.
Have you ever eaten barracuda?
I've never had barracuda, but
most
I
fish,
have seen.
Bass.
Mm-hmm.
I said most. That's about it.
Um.
Banh mi.
Mm-hmm. Bao.
I said bao.
Oh,
Yep.
you did say bao. Okay. Yes, banh mi is good. Ooh, I got another one to add to P. Pastrami.
Did we just switch? Were we on? Oh, we were on B. Okay.
We were on B. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of. I'm getting my original P stuff is coming to my head because I think about that pastrami dip sandwich.
I'm going.
What's
S.
the dip? What's the dip called again?
What's the what?
Dip.
Au jus.
Oh shoot, that don't fit into nothing.
I think S is it.
S works.
There's actually
If he went fried for. He went F for fried, but I was trying to think of F stuff like French
salsa,
fries,
scallops, spinach, salt, samosa, strawberries.
What the hell is samosa?
Samosa? You know.
Samosa?
Yeah.
What's that?
They're kind of like empanadas. They're like Persian empanadas.
Okay.
Spaghetti?
Oh. Man. Oh, guess what? Guess what S also starts with?
What?
Stephanie.
Oh, Jesus. Shark, if you want to get into that. Snapper.
Okay. Shark is crazy.
I said spinach. Squid, if you like that. Sugar.
Okay. S is
Sweet potatoes. Boom.
Oh, I found potatoes. Okay, so if I go with P, I think S is beating P. I looked it up. We got papaya, parmesan, parsnip, pear, pickled cucumber, parsnip,
parmesan, passion fruit.
Pasta, peanuts, pomegranate,
peaches,
peas. Yep, pineapple, pizza, potatoes, prunes. I really like prunes, y'all.
Prunes are straight.
Paella. Pancakes. Ooh, pitas. Ooh.
Okay, those two are solid. That's about it, though.
Pepper, pistachios.
I'm gonna look up
popcorn. B. Yeah. S wins over P. I got it.
B ain't hitting on nothing. You do got blueberries, broccolini, bread.
Ooh,
butter.
Bread is a buzzer beater.
Butter is pretty good.
Ooh, butter. Oh, butter.
T. Okay, T is trash. Tuna, trout, turkey.
Hold on. Tuna and turkey is not trash.
No, I'm just saying the list is, that's it. That's the list.
Oh, that's it? Damn.
What would be a sleeper? Let's find something that has a bunch of stuff. R's.
Let's look
trash.
at L's. What does L have? You said you were looking up R's?
L. Let's go there. L is barely anything. Licorice, lobster, lemon, lamb.
Lobster and lemon.
Leeks, lettuce. F. Figs. You know what? That's crazy. We just fruit. That's so random. We started with the ones that had the longest list. Now I'm looking at other stuff, and C's kind of popping. Cake, cabbage, calamari, cantaloupe, crab, carrot, celery, cheddar.
Okay, that's looking
chicken,
good.
chickpea, chili peppers.
C is bussing right now. Like you talking to me right now.
Someone said chocolate dark. Chocolate milk, chocolate strawberry, cinnamon, clam, coconut, corn, cottage cheese, cream cheese. Damn.
Sorry, cream cheese is so good and like those little pinwheels.
Okay. Actually, C was going crazy.
C was going crazy. C is up there with S.
No,
low key. R is raspberry, radish, raisins, ramen, ratatouille, ravioli.
I checked in on R just because of ramen, and it wasn't.
Red velvet, red onion. What? Why do they have bell pepper on here? That doesn't start with an R. Red potatoes, rice, rice pudding, rabbit, romaine lettuce, ranch dressing, woo, risotto, relish, ribs, red currant, rutabaga.
S wins by far.
You're right.
Because it even has other stuff that I didn't mention, like squirrel, soy milk.
That doesn't help.
Stuff you don't even think about. You feel me?
No, that doesn't help.
What do you think has the least amount of stuff? What letter do you think?
Q.
Good guess, but no.
No?
No.
Okay. U.
Okay. You had one, and I thought that was it, and it's...
There's one that has none?
Umeboshi. Yeah, but you could probably guess that pretty quick.
V.
V got veal, vanilla, vegetables, vinegar.
X. Oh, yeah, X.
X got nothing. X has nothing. A short...
so if you ever make up a food, you gotta
call it...
Call it something that starts with the X.
Zillifi.
Zaclofada.
All right. Let's get into these thick ass facts, all right?
Okay.
I have one that's kind of depressing. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You ever squish a bug and be like, it was just a bug. Who cares? They got an exoskeleton. They probably didn't feel pain.
That crunch.
Wrong. Not only do insects feel pain, but they can also suffer from chronic pain after recovering from an injury. Have you ever slapped an insect and saw it like try to get back up and it was like trying to get away? I always thought they were just like a robot that had a malfunction, like how Iron Man it'd be like, Jarvis, tell me what's going on. It's like, your legs aren't working. He'd be like, damn, I thought it was like that. They got chronic pain.
They limp away.
They limp away, and they for the rest of their life, they're just like, I got a bad knee because Steph wanted to slap me.
I'm sorry.
I remember when I was a kid.
I'm afraid of doing that.
When I was a kid, I was outside with my friend, and I saw a lizard. It was like a baby lizard, and I was trying to find it, and it was like trying to run away from me, and it was using this rock that was uneven to like hide from me. And I spun the rock around because it was against the cement on one side, but high up. So I took the high up spot and I spun it around, and it squished him, and his eyes came out. and I just remember looking at like a baby lizard that was like this big, and his eyes were out because of me.
You psychopath!
It was not on purpose. I was trying to just see him, and the only thing that kept me from crying was like, he didn't feel it. He's tiny. And I think that's the fucked up thing, is that humans think that because something is like tiny, they're not going to feel pain. So how do you feel now? That stuff.
Now that you know he felt it,
I didn't
process it.
I didn't just prove that myself wrong right now. I knew a long time ago.
That he felt it.
Yeah, because it's also a lizard. Like it's an animal. It's not even in the insect kingdom, so I know he felt that. But
poor baby.
I definitely feel insane amounts of guilt because of the insect thing, because I've definitely like injured an insect and let it live, but I didn't think it was gonna have a damn ice pack on for the rest of his life. Just chronic pain.
You ever like accidentally like, you hit the bug and the leg came off, but it kept like going. So that makes you think. Pain. Yeah, it makes you think that they don't really feel it like that because they keep going. It's just like they gotta alter
we would keep going.
How they. If my leg came off,
if a giant was attacking you and your leg came off, you'd probably scurry away and then be like, "Oh shit!"
I don't know how much I'd be able to move if he ripped my entire leg off.
If your life was on the line, you'd probably be
pouring
moving
out.
You'd probably be hopping on one leg or going like this with your arms until you're out of the way, and then you'd probably be like, "Oh, I'm fucked up." And that's exactly what these insects are doing, and I feel terrible.
The good thing is that I don't look for bugs to smash. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't say I did that.
No, I'm not saying that you did. I'm just saying, like, in the grand scheme of things, while I'm thinking about it, like, I only do it, and I'm so terrified. I would rather spray it until there's like a puddle around it, so that I could just like. You
damn near drown it at that point. Drown it in poison. You don't even let it take effect.
I feel much more comfortable doing that.
I've done some pretty psycho stuff with bugs. Like I'll spray them with Raid and then watch them suffocate. I've done that. I sprayed them until they just died on the spot. Pretty scary stuff. Because when you think about a bug and how much their life it doesn't mean to a human, I think that's when the worst of a human comes out. But I will say this: I like bees. I like certain insects enough to like a ladybug. I wouldn't torture. I wouldn't torture any bug. But in terms of like ladybugs and bees, I don't want to kill them, but I will. Flies and mosquitoes.
There's literally no reason to kill a ladybug. They don't like,
and they're good luck.
Swarm you. They're good luck. Like if you see one, more than likely it's just on a solo journey.
You're probably homophobic,
huh?
You're probably homophobic.
If you kill a ladybug, yeah, that's crazy to kill a ladybug.
If it's a male ladybug, you're like, no, it's probably a horrible judge of character. But when we're talking about flies and mosquitoes, they can feel pain for the rest of their lives. If I was a psychopath, I would torture flies and mosquitoes.
See, for the most part with flies and mosquitoes, I just try to guide them out of my space. So you know how they like light. So I'll turn off all the lights in my house, open the door where there's light at, and try to get them to just go on their own. If not, I've had one of those fly swatters that were electric, the electric fly swatter.
Have you ever used the gun?
The gun?
Oh my God. Okay. If I were ever trying to convince a jury that I wasn't psycho and somebody brought up this, I'd have some trouble.
Your defense would want to quit.
It'd be tough because when it comes to flies, I've had full battles because coming up, I had a small studio in my garage. So when a fly got in, it was in unless I would try to guide them out, not because I was humane, because I want them all to suffer. But if they didn't get out, I have literally had moments, I think it might have been 30 to 40 minutes at the most, where I'm standing there trying to hear where it is and either hit them or whatever. But then I got the gun. It's a salt gun. It's a shotgun. And all it shoots is salt. That's what you load in regular table salt and you go chick, chick. If a fly lands and you shoot it, it dies with just a blast of salt.
That's insane.
It's called the bug assault gun, assault rifle. And flies probably know who I am. I probably got some money on my head or whatever
Do you have a picture with your assault rifle like this?
I mean, I think it has to be word of mouth because I've taken out fleets of flies. And I should have taken a picture holding their legs up to send to the fly community because I'm out here murdering flies. I think I got 2 guns.
So if the flies ever have a rebellion, you know which house to blow up.
I mean, they've flown into my face enough for me to know, like, oh,
this is right on your nose.
This
and
is
shit.
Revenge. You'd be like, and I'll be like, they
leave shit when you do that.
If they land on, they do. They'll throw up or shit. But if they just hit you, I don't know.
I've used the most effective thing that I've seen was the tape. The tape.
Those work, but they're gross.
Let me tell you, they're so disgusting.
That's how the dinosaurs
You have to change the tape.
I don't like it.
My cousins bullied me when I was younger, and they dared me to go into our little patio area. It was just a patio area with long wooden. It was a long wooden gate, so you can't see in there at all, really. But they was like, "God, you should get naked and go in there." I went, and it was a dare. You know, when we were younger, when we played, Truth or Dare, that was my dare, and I'm like, okay,
what?
That was my dare.
Be naked and go where?
Into the little patio area for like 5 seconds. Well, what they did was, when I did it, they pushed me into the tape with all the dead flies on it, and it smells like
dead flies.
Rotting flesh. Like it really? Got caught in my hair. Wow. It was on my skin. And as I was turning, it was like.
Were you naked?
Yes. As I was like frantically turning, it was getting more stuck on my skin. And it was just the most disgusting thing.
That sounds
I was
like
screaming,
the
crying.
Origin of a superhero, like Fly Woman.
A villain, you mean? Cause
that's crazy.
Because
I can't do the flies. I've lived in Koreatown, downtown LA, mid city, just a bunch of shitholes that have flies everywhere. And I've done the tape, and I think out of everything, that's the worst one.
It's the most effective though.
Yeah, but it's just like it's
because once they land on
at
that,
least the zapper, it seems like they disintegrate, but they just fall into a tray or something like that you can collect afterward. But it's literally like they fly into it and they can't move and they die. Super brutal, super horrible, and super gross.
Get out of my space.
All right, what's the thick facts?
All right, my fact is so fucked up. It's this little article. Woman donated kidney to save the life of her boss. Gets fired when she took too long to recover from surgery.
I heard about this.
How fucked up is that?
That's crazy.
A New York woman who donated a kidney to help her ailing supervisor move up the transplant waiting list alleges she was fired shortly after the operation. According to a complaint filed with the New York State Division of Human Rights, Deborah Stevens underwent surgery in August to have her left kidney removed and returned to work about a month later.
They were both women too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Her attorney said the procedure resulted in nerve damage in one leg, digestive complications, and psychological distress. Following her return, Ms. Stevens claimed her boss, Jacqueline Brucia, became curt and dismissive, according to the complaint. She says she was criticized for using sick leave and reassigned to a less favorable office location after raising concerns about Brucia's behavior with human resources. On April 11, 2012, Stevens was dismissed from her position at Atlantic Automotive, which cited performance issues as the reason for her termination. Her attorney described the state complaint as a preliminary step before pursuing a federal lawsuit against Brucia and the company. Attempts to reach Ms. Brucia for comment were unsuccessful. In a statement, Atlantic Automotive said, "It is unfortunate that one employee has used her generous act to make up a groundless claim. Atlantic Auto treated her appropriately and acted honorably and fairly at every turn."
That is such a bad look.
Oh.
That is such a bad look.
Because you got to think about it. The person who received the kidney, if it indeed is a good match and the kidney takes and, all is well with that.
There's no recovery.
Once the recovery is up, it's like it would seem that you could kind of live normally. But the person who gave up the kidney is going to, it's going to have a different set of complications with recovery.
That is
so
crazy.
if you can't accept that when you were on a transplant list,
and you could say that the board of directors led you to do that, but it's like, you cannot let that happen. If you have their kidney in there, I would rather either the company go into the red. I would honestly, I would give up my position as CEO. Like, if you saved my life, right, and they're telling me to fire you, like, you have to have, like, that woman had zero shreds of dignity. Like, that reputation, I hope, follows her for the rest of her life, because that is just pure fucking evil. I've read this story a couple times, and it's like, that is not, there's literally nothing you can say for the rest of your life.
And you really hope that the justice system is going to be in favor of the person who gave up the kidney, because sometimes they can look at the business of things and be like, well, this person was no longer productive for the company, blah, blah, blah. And if you look at it through that lens, the legality, the technicality, the automotive company might come on top. And then it's like, damn.
It's like a moral thing.
So I did all this to help you to save your life.
You should be able to refund it.
This is the thanks I get.
You should be able to refund it.
Well, there is a horror movie called Repo Man.
For sure, that's a movie. But I'm just saying, there should be a way to be like,
give me my kidney back.
You can, because what if you give somebody your kidney and the complications that you suffer are fatal, and they're like, okay, we don't know what to do, so we just have to put it back. There should be. And I mean, that would probably lead to more fucked up scenarios where you have to just take somebody's kidney back. But like, that should be the scenario where you take it back. Because at that point, it'd be like, bruh, give me my kidney back and I hope you die at this point.
Well, you're not going to, that's the thing. You're not going to get your kidney back because it's her kidney now. Like, it's my kidney now, nigga.
Oh, because you signed it over and
you
all
signed
that.
it, it's mine. Like,
That's
you
so
no longer
dark.
have any...
That's so dark.
You just got to hope all the drinking and poor eating that you did at some point in time, you better hope that kidney
if you were doing that,
gives out,
that is grounds for killing somebody.
Because
Like-
if she hadn't have got it sounds like she was lower on the transplant list.
That's
So
fucked
to
up.
have somebody offer to give you that, and that's why I say that your coworkers aren't your friends.
Mhm.
This is what it comes down to, is stuff like this. Like,
Honestly,
she owes her life, literally.
You should just do that for your close friends. Because
and family.
I
or
wouldn't even
some
I
family.
wouldn't even want to know that somebody would do that to me. You know what I mean? Like, even if financially I was fine and it's like I didn't need that job, like for me to give a huge part of myself to somebody and they're even in the position to be like, damn, even if it was like your recovery, they said it would be a month and you've been gone for 3 months. I got to do this, you know, like no one's going to care about that. People are only going to care about the fact that you got the kidney and you fired them. So the little legalities, like it was up to you to either be like, fuck it, we can take the loss because of this person. Like, how does that not fall into the same category as like maternal leave, you know?
Because essentially, she's shortening her lifespan too. Like,
for giving her a kidney up?
For giving her a kidney.
Does
yeah,
it really take
you
away
have
from your life?
2 kidneys.
But I thought you only needed one.
Well, that's the thing. They ain't giving us nothing that we don't need for real. Like, even if it does the most minor thing, I guarantee you somebody with 2 healthy kidneys would probably live longer than somebody with 1 healthy kidney. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I thought it was
fact
just
that
like
she's like giving
the tonsils or something. You know?
I mean, kidneys play a vital role in your survival. So I feel like if somebody is giving you like an essential organ like that, it's like, bruh, like, come on. It's like if I gave you one of my eyes because you were going blind, you know what I'm saying? And now you can see. And then you fire me once you, you know, while I'm recovering from losing a fucking eye.
Once I can see what you're not doing.
That's so fucked up
That's
shit.
insane. All right, let's get into these threads. I'm sick of talking about this horrendous devil of a woman. That's so messed up.
All right, you're going to love this thread. Are you ready for it?
I am.
People that have died and been brought back. What did you see and feel?
Go ahead and delete that from mine.
This is like the best one we've started following. All right. Logical Nonsense said, not much. Kinda just felt like I time traveled. I was run over by a truck and bled to death on the side of the road and had to be revived.
Oh.
One moment I was looking behind me and saw the truck right before it hit me and thought, what the fuck? Then I just remember a massive force and I was knocked out when my head hit the ground.
Damn.
Then I was in an ambulance with blood everywhere and someone trying to talk to me after feeling a huge electric shock. Then I lost consciousness again after a moment. I was in the hospital and had just woken up from emergency surgery to save my life. No bright lights, no dreams, no visions. If I'd have died, I would have just ceased to exist.
That's what I was thinking it was like, you know.
That's scary.
Like, it's kind of like when you either get knocked out and you're like, what happened? Or like you black out and you're like, what happened last night?
Or you go under anesthesia. Anesthesia is the closest thing to death to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember last time that happened to me, but I can only imagine because it's just like, I feel like going under with anesthesia is the same as like blacking out drunk or fainting. You know, you don't know how it happened, but when it happened, you didn't see it as like weird. You didn't wake up like, It just felt like you were sleeping and you're like, wait, what the heck happened?
So for me, the times that I've been under anesthesia, it felt like it was 3 seconds.
And even if it was like a couple minutes.
It was 3 hours. No, 4 hours, 3 hours.
Damn.
Under anesthesia, it felt like 3 seconds, you know, like you're just out and back. Right. What if some people, you know, what I was expecting to hear some people say, not say on here, but I was just in my head thinking about like if someone closed their eyes and the next time you open them, you're in a womb. That would be
the only reason I don't like that theory, because a lot of people do say like when you die, somebody's born, you know, and it's immediate. I want a little I want a little buffer period. I want to like get the stats of my last life, figure stuff out, and then choose or just be sent to the next thing. I think like dying and immediately being a baby is that terrifies me. I want a little limbo.
You want some purgatory action?
I want some purg.
Ew.
I want to pop me a purg.
This person said, "Pop me a purg" is crazy.
Took you a second.
That's because I started reading, but nothing but calm relaxation. Woke up with half a beard.
What?
Sore and down 15 pounds.
Half a beard this way?
I don't know. Mountain bike accident with massive head trauma. Almost 7 years ago. I didn't remember the next 2 months, but I fully recovered.
Damn.
Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for the love. Wear helmets. I was wearing a helmet, not full face. Impact point was between the eyebrows. Helmet saved my life. Split the helmet in half.
Damn.
And I do have a small scar. And the smashed helmet. Mm-hmm.
Helmets would be sturdy.
I picked the song for the video. Quiet Riot fit on the screen action perfectly. I'm in my mid-40s now, late 30s at the time of the bike crash.
Oh, okay. So it's been some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Saying nothing comforts me and terrifies me because when people say nothing, it's like, all right, there's no hell. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's also like, were you in the in-between, right? I don't know how to gauge it because, you know, they say like with the 7 circles of sin and hell, there's a spot for people who were neutral, like people who didn't really believe, but they did not believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of like, they're not in pain for the rest of their life, but they're just kind of like there, you know?
Ugh.
So that might be kind of crazy, but then it's also like the only experience I have from it is one of my good friends was talking about somebody that they knew who died for a second and then came back and his life wasn't really on track at the time. And he said
he smelled sulfur and was hot.
I don't remember him saying anything about a smell, but he said that he couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. But he heard torture. He heard people screaming.
Oh.
He said it was really, really hot, and he heard fire.
Ooh.
So why that scared the shit out of me, obviously he changed his life 1,000% after that.
Absolutely.
But what's scary about that is we think about the visual of hell, you know, and what it looks like, a river of like souls and all that stuff. What I never thought about is just literally what you said, either maybe like in a previous episode today, you were talking about how things are scarier when it's left up to your imagination. So if you didn't see anything, you just heard what people were going through.
Oh my God.
And you had to go through hell with no visuals, but you were burning and feeling pain and it was awful, but you weren't like looking at other people like, oh, this shit's trash. Like it's just you and what you can hear. And I was just like, yeah, that's might be the worst description of hell I could think of.
I've seen Osiris in a dream before. And
Who's Osiris? Like, YK Osiris?
Definitely not. Ancient Egyptian, like the judgment of death.
Is that the bird head?
Yeah, Osiris has a bird head. Yeah. I've seen him in a dream before, and that shit was scary as fuck. I took an elevator down, and he was at the elevator.
The Egyptian gods are probably the scariest
That
ones.
was terrifying.
I don't like the jackal. What's his name? Anubis? Anubis really scares me.
Anubis is the scariest looking of them all.
I mean,
he's black with the...
Yeah. I mean, the Egyptian gods are scary. Like, they have the birds. And is there an alligator head? I don't think I've seen it. I be seeing birds and Anubis, but a lot of those are scary. I don't like the half animal, half god ones.
There is an alligator head.
There is? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought I saw one.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, but that was scary just in a dream. So I could just imagine like people if they saw anything like that, any images. I haven't seen anybody talk about images that they've seen as they've gone. It's really about like light and dark.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
why,
sounds.
that's what's scary about the dark one. It's just like you're not just like, man, I was at this fiery gate. Like it's not that biblical. It's feeling.
Mm-hmm. Broke both wrists and a few bones in one hand. Search and rescue and my brothers-in-law found me around 6 hours after the crash in the middle of the night. I have no memory of the bike ride, crash, rescue, or the week at the hospital, but I found some video about a year later. I was back to work 2 months later as a senior financial analyst, desk job, mostly recovered, and I still don't have much memory of the 2 months prior. Had to do the most work on mental tasks. For example, the doc would show me a picture of a whale and ask me what it was, and my mind told me it was a whale, but I could not communicate that word. I'd say, oh yeah, it's like a fish and big, and they eat little fish. Oof. Lots of different kinds of them. And the doc will say, well, what is it? It took me 4 to 6 months to be able to answer that.
Damn.
It was 2 years before I fully recovered.
The niggas he was taking care of financially were in shambles. Nigga fucked up their finances.
Right. Some technical talk. I ride a 29 hardtail with stock front suspension. I enjoy cross-country trails, not downhill technical rides or any of the jumping. For the bike crash, I was borrowing my bro's 26 full suspension or 26-inch full suspension that was super small and had a springy suspension front and rear, which threw me over the handlebars. Helmet had MIPS. Kudos to the YouTube comments. Also wear helmets. He didn't say what he saw though. He's just saying he didn't see any. I guess he has no memory.
That's scary too to be able to. I mean, I don't like it when I can't remember. Like when I black out. Like I hate that, and that usually just be like one night. You imagine a month. It reminds me of that horror short about the chair that they found.
Oh yeah.
That's the
blanks of time is just it's scary.
The fact that your body can run on autopilot is really scary, but it's cool too because it's like it can. I feel like that's where your fight or flight really comes into play. I've seen a lot of people say that they've been in crazy fights and they don't remember because they blacked out, or it's like you get too messed up and you just like automatically get out of a crazy scenario and you're just like, damn, I don't really like remember it like that. But
what made me kind of calm down about blacking out, because I black out if I mix too many alcohols.
Yeah.
I haven't blacked out in a long time, but
the
times that I have, it's been scary because I'm like, I don't know what I did. Like, what did I do? But then I read up on what a blackout was, and it said, like, you're still conscious and you're able to make sound decisions. Your brain just doesn't create the memories.
It's not recording what's going on.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay. So
that's why nothing happened.
Right. So I still was
really
able
comforting.
to make. Yeah, it was
because
comforting.
you know that you. But I've also had blackouts where that was out the window too, and you're like, what the heck? I wouldn't even do or say something like that. And I think that is probably the biggest alcohol repellent in the world, because it's just like the fact that if you get too high, you get quiet and sleepy. But too drunk is just a path that it's like that it could ruin your life for real. I think a really cool interview that Shaq did was he said, the only time I drink is at home with my mom. And they were like, what? And they were just like, what my mom gave me and our legacy is too important to me to drink in public. And I was just like, damn, like what have you seen people do?
Right.
To mention your legacy. You've seen some wild stuff. And I was just like, damn, alcohol is a different, like the fact that your brain stops recording memories is like, that's a malfunction. If your computer did that, that's when you work on a beat and it crashes and you lose the beat. That's a crash. You don't want to do. That's really scary. That's really scary.
Okay, I'll read this one. I had a cardiac arrest and no pulse for 13 minutes.
Damn.
I was kept alive with CPR and eventually shocked back to life with a defibrillator. I woke up several times but kept slipping unconscious. There was nothing there. Just blank spaces in time that were very short. A lady did the CPR for 40 minutes and it went by in a second. But I did have a feeling of not wanting to die or leave my life.
Damn.
40 minutes of holy shit. I can't even keep up the chest compressions for 5 minutes without having to tap in someone else. That lady's a goat. That is exhausting.
40 minutes. They really believed. Because you would think after, like, if you think about doing this nonstop, it's like planking. It probably feels way longer. So you do that for a solid 5-10 minutes, you might be like, man, they gone.
But he said there was nothing there. It was just black. But I also wonder, they said he wasn't, it doesn't seem like he was dead, though. It seems like he was just on the brink. He went unconscious.
Well, they be saying like fight, and I wonder what that feels like, because it's like, it seems like there's something that you can do about it. There's some people who really hang in there and they'll survive years of a coma, or like minutes of being like, almost dead, and like come back. And it seems like they always describe it as like the urge to fight. But I saw an interview recently that said that like dying feels amazing. They said that it felt so good.
You get a rush of adrenaline.
Yeah, and it was just like, it felt like, it's almost like when we were talking about how it might not be a visual thing to die, it might not be like heaven and hell, what we see depicted in pictures. It might just be a feeling. So if that horribleness that I was talking about when that dude went to hell and they heard fire and it was hot and they heard screaming, the opposite of that might just be like euphoria, feeling good. I mean, that might be why there's a drug that can show you what it feels like to die. Yeah, it might just be like an intense
It's not adrenaline.
Feeling.
Is it cortisol? It's oxytocin? The hormone? No. The hormone
that it releases. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I heard that it was like when you're on the brink of dying, it just feels so good to let go. So fighting is damn near like it almost reminds me of like when you comfortable in bed and you have something to do, like if you have to go to the gym or you have to go to work and you're like, I want to stay in bed.
Right.
It feels like giving in is like that.
I'm gonna read this last one because it's a little different than what we heard.
Okay.
This last person said, I had a saddle pulmonary embolism. The doctor afterwards told me it was the biggest clot he'd ever seen. I can't say for sure, but I know when it happened. In the moments leading up to it, I heard a voice say, sit down on the chair. As soon as I did, I was out. I can't describe it other than saying it felt like my body was lifting into the air. I felt simultaneously heavy and super light at the same time. I woke up covered in cold sweat. I spent a month in the ICU after that.
Wow.
So again, like, it's just feeling stuff like...
They felt like they were lifting into the air, and there's a bunch of biblical or religious depictions of going to heaven as lifting up, and that could have been from somebody who was dying. I feel like most religious experiences or just like spiritual life and death experiences are just people trying, like we said before, trying to explain what they can't. If an alien comes down in a flying saucer and they have like, boosters that have like flames coming out of them, you might describe that as a damn chariot that's riding down from the sky.
A flaming chariot.
Exactly. And, they even said that biblical interpretations of like a bomb or an atomic bomb that had the mushroom cloud come up. There have been depictions of people saying that it looked like a scroll was going up in the air. So it's like, if you don't know the poetic side of what they're explaining, it's just people explaining things the best that they can.
Right.
So it's just super fascinating to see stuff or hear stuff like this, because it's like, damn, like we were thinking of all of this stuff as super, super literal when it could be way less than that. And that's scary to me, because it's like, it makes sense. I was always thinking like, if heaven is a real physical place that you walking around like we were walking around out here, that shit would be crowded as hell.
Super.
But if it was just a feeling, everybody could fit in that bitch.
You can feel feelings everywhere. Listen.
That's really scary.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
You might have to do a part 2 of that, because there were so many more stories. There's a guy that I think he died. I don't know how long he was gone for, but he wrote a whole book about it. Like, he saw the light and he described his whole experience. I forgot his name, but it's very, very interesting.
I have another theory that the light at the end of the tunnel
What?
is the open pussy.
Is that what it feels like? It feels like heaven in there?
No, not having sex.
You said light.
Getting birth.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? If you cross through that wall, that light, wow, baby,
cervix.
now you're a Chinese baby, But if you resist, no, I don't want to be Chinese, or whatever the reason.
Then you're
then
taken
you wake
out
up
with a hanger?
No, wow. No, you're still in your other body. You wake up out of the thing and you're like, okay, I'm not dead, But if you cross through that light, well, now you in Czechoslovakia, and you a baby starting over.
Okay. Kind of similar to my close your eyes and then open them in the womb.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But I think the light might be the cat.
The womb.
The cat. Yeah. You can't really call it cat in the context of birth.
I was at the womb.
The vagina.
Mm-hmm. The uterus.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Which makes y'all celestial beings.
We are.
What does that make us?
Beings.
We just there? I feel you.
We're the giver of life. Y'all are the takers.
Damn. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. That's crazy after calling y'all celestial beings.
We appreciate y'all, though.
All right, you guys. Well, this has been another episode of Thick Threads. I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
Shout out to the thread heads on the Patreon. We've been live for a very long time, couple hours. We do this all the time, and make sure you check in on our gaming tier and our We Trippin' tier. We're going hard on Patreon for the rest of the year.
And we both have started. We have Twitch accounts where we're doing more IRL streaming. So whenever you see, if you have Twitch, if you don't have it, you should get it. But if you have it, follow us on there so you can pop in whenever we're doing some IRL streaming.
Absolutely. And if you've been looking at me for the past 3 weeks, like, dang, he kind of looks the same. There's only little slight changes. I'm only changing my hats because this is a cloudy polo summer. Go to protectyourlight.com to get you a polo. There are so many left.
Damn.
Ouch. All right, you guys. Again, I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
See y'all next week.